Jessica, that was a fantastic clinical performance, but how frustrating was Rosi Sexton's resilience in there?
Frustrante foi a resistência da Rosi Sexton, ela não caiu de jeito nenhum.
Eu já esperava isso dela, eu já tinha assistido muitas lutas dela, eu já tinha visto que ela era muito forte, então assim, não foi tão frustrante, porque na verdade o jogo era esperar ela cansar.
It wasn't exactly frustrating because we knew how tough she was, but you know, we really thought that there were a few times that maybe they could have stopped it, but you know, props to Rosi.
You've spent this week, and you've seen, you know, since we've seen you here, you've been incredibly relaxed all week. The fight with Liz Carmouche, how much did that help prepare you for stepping in the octagon again today?
Ajudou a se preparar para essa luta.
Me deixou bem mais focada, né? Acho que a primeira luta eu estava muito nervosa e para essa eu foquei bem mais, treinei bem mais com a minha equipe e segui o que a minha equipe falou e deu certo.
You know, the first one, everything was shiny, everything was new, and you know, she was on Fox, out of fighting for 2,000 people. She was now fighting on TV in the States, and you know, that fight. For this one, she was able to relax a little bit more, you know, get her training done properly, and you know, just focus more. And because there was so much more in play for this one, you know.
You seem to be enjoying yourself in the cage tonight. Is that a fair summation of the fight?
Você parece estar sempre se divertindo dentro do octógono, isso é assim mesmo?
É, assim, eu sempre tento levar a alegria lá pra dentro, então acho que quando a gente está feliz com o que a gente faz, tudo sai bem, a gente faz tudo melhor.
Whenever you're happy about your job or whatever you're doing, you tend to do it better, and hopefully, you know, that works for her.
Jessica, some fans will look at women's fights and think maybe they shouldn't take as much of a beating as men. I know it's a bad view, but if you were Rosi Sexton, would you have wanted the fight to be stopped?
Alguns fãs acham que as mulheres não deviam ser obrigadas tipo, não deviam ser julgadas, não deviam deixar a luta continuar tanto, né, deixar ela apanhar tanto. O que você tem a dizer para esses fãs, e se você estivesse no lugar da Rosi, o que você acharia disso que eles estão falando?
Olha, é assim, cada um tem o seu jeito de pensar, né, na verdade, mas é sempre bom que eles deixem, porque a gente quer sempre mostrar o nosso melhor. Então, se eu estivesse no lugar da Rosi, eu também não gostaria que ele acabasse a luta, que fosse até o final, porque eu ia querer dar o meu máximo ali dentro.
You know, everyone is allowed to think whatever they want, but in the end, you know, they train as hard as any other guy out there, and you know, they should be allowed to fight until the end, like all of them. And if she was on Rosi's shoes, should have done the same. Should have just stuck up there.
Finally, will Jessica be campaigning for a lower weight division added to the UFC, as a lot of women find 135 they'd rather fight lower?
E você, a partir de agora, vai pedir para a entrada de novas categorias mais baixas, já que você, a princípio, poderia estar lutando na outra?
É sim, é sempre bom, né, abrir uma categoria abaixo. Se acaso abrir, eu vou tentar baixar, dependendo da categoria, mas eu me sinto muito bem no 61 e vamos até onde for.
You know, we're just gonna keep on going. You know, the UFC is who makes the rules here, and you know, whatever the bosses say, we'll go with it. It would be nice if there were lower weight classes, mainly because there would be more girls in the UFC. But you know, for now she's fighting at 135, and she's gonna keep on going.
Is it
two questions, guys?
Is it fair to say that you're becoming more comfortable with each fight at 135?
É justo dizer que você está se sentindo mais confortável a cada luta de 61 quilos?
Sim, eu me sinto cada vez mais confortável. Acho que a primeira luta foi mesmo uma coisa de nervosismo, porque eu já lutava nessa categoria antes. Então, eu acho que a cada luta que passar eu vou estar bem mais preparada e bem mais confiante.
I think it's not that much about being comfortable with the weight class, but being comfortable with herself within the UFC, because she's still so young, you know, she still has so much to learn, and every new fight, you know, every 3 months, she becomes a new fighter.
Your stance looked very similar to Vanderlei Silva. Is that something you've tried to replicate at all?
A sua pose nessa luta, né, sua guarda estava igual ao do Vanderlei Silva. Você estudou isso? Você tentou emular isso na luta?
Na verdade, nós montamos, né, uma estratégia para evitar ela me quedar, então essa postura foi o que mais se encaixou para essa luta. Geralmente minha guarda é mais alta, mas não pensei nele, na verdade. Pensei mais no jogo da minha adversária.
It wasn't that much about Vanderlei, but I think the objective is the same. You know, it's just keeping the fight standing, you know, avoiding all the takedowns and keep on punching. And that's how it went. You know, usually she fights with a higher guard and a bit more up straight. But for this one, since we didn't want to go to the ground with Rosi, that's what worked.
Congratulations on a fantastic performance. So is there anybody that you want to shout out, any sponsors she'd like to name?
Tem alguém que você gostaria de mandar um abraço, mandar um ok, algum patrocinador, alguma coisa assim?
A gente sempre tem, né? Eu agradecer o pessoal da Buster, né? Que patrocinou essa luta. Todo o pessoal da minha cidade, de Moarama, a CTP, o pessoal do Rio que tem me ajudado.
Da Alienware.
Hã?
Alienware.
Eu não sei falar o nome, fala o nome. Não.
Alienware.
Alienware.
So, like today, you know, the guys from
English.
Booster, you know, who supported us for this one. You know, we're fighting on the prelims here, and it's very tough to get sponsors, and they backed us on this one. You know, props to them for believing in Jessica, and the guys from Alienware who have been with us since the first fight, and the guys from East and West in Japan. Always, you know, PRVT, the gym. You know, everybody's always behind her, and we'll be, you know, there's a reason it's here. You know, she'll be with them forever.
Thanks, guys.
How do you say thank you? Obrigado.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jessica.